Hi everybody, and welcome to FANG Friday. This is Ross Healy, the Chairman of Strategic Analysis Corporation and a Senior Portfolio Manager at McNichol & Associates Asset Management. A warning to those who are faint of heart. This webcast contains disturbing subject matter and may cause some subscribers to utter coarse language. Viewer discretion is advised. First and foremost, the Standard & Poor's 500 has come down, did test its super growth price about 3 weeks ago with precision, that's 3.5 times book, but yesterday on the retest, it failed to hold that critical level. Now, today it is rebounding back to that key breakpoint. So maybe yesterday was all a big mistake. But in my 36 years of deploying SVA, I have learned to be wary of such mistakes. The last time this occurred, the super growth price held and the index rebounded. So I only crossed my fingers then. This time, the NASDAQ has not yet come down to its bubble price at 7.4 times book, although if I read what the FANGs seem to be trying to tell us, a test by this index may be close at hand, as we will see in a moment. Last week, I noted that the general action of the FANGs would not lead me to take it as a general warning to take to the lifeboats as far as the NASDAQ 100 was concerned, as the NASDAQ index itself does remain above its bubble price. That's 7.4 times book. But this week, I'm at least going to run the davits out to be ready in case the market decides to ditch at sea. For the old hands among our FANG Friday viewers, you will remember that to get a confirmed sell signal from the U.S. market, we need to have a sell signal from both the Standard & Poor's and the NASDAQ. One is not enough to take action. If we do get a confirmed signal, however, defensive action is advised. Right now, we really need to take a close look at those FANGs and what's been going on. But as always, before I do that, I do like to say thanks to everyone who likes this video and all our subscribers. It really helps to grow our channel, and we appreciate it greatly. Okay, we'll start off with Apple, which had a perfect dead hit at its HB7 setback, got to its HB6 and failed to hold. Meta broke out above its mid-super growth price, that's 5.5 times book, held for quite a while, but then has broken back down again, and in the last 5 or 6 weeks has failed to break back. So we still have a sell signal on the stock. Netflix, again, very much like Meta, it had been holding beautifully at its bubble price and then abruptly let go. Quickly got itself back on side again, but lately has had a fairly sharp sell-off. Warning, 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 NVIDIA had held absolutely beautifully at its HB6, and that, of course, that's 32 times book value, and that was a high on the stock that ran all the way back to the year 2000. It has broken recently, giving us a confirmed sell signal. And then Amazon, which had been holding beautifully at its bubble price, and I thought was there good and solidly. And what happened today? Along with the S&P 500, it has sort of fallen below the waves, the bubble price. Although, like the Standard & Poor's 500, it's been moving back again to that bubble price again. We'll have to see whether this is a real setback or just a momentary lapse. Microsoft, of course, has been sliding, and I had been expecting it to slide down to its HB1 price, and that simply continues that trend. and particularly, of course, in the past week. And what's strange about this, of course, is that this is the leading AI stock. What's it doing down here? I ask myself. Tesla, well, we've seen Tesla. It had a beautiful bounce at its bubble, beautiful bounce at its HB1, beautiful bounce at its HB2, every time going up about 2.5 breakpoints. Well, we're still there, but we haven't got a breakout as of yet. So we're a little bit on tenterhooks here. The last of the FANGs, of course, is Alphabet. And Alphabet, I'm happy to say so far, remains comfortably at and above its mid-super growth price. Now, to summarize, famous last words from me last week. Remember? I said, as long as you don't think too much about it, Amazon looks to be fine, thank you, fine. It had broken out over its bubble price, and the trend of its fair market value measures had actually tilted up recently. All you had to do was ignore the slowing sales growth and the reality that it was sitting 62% above its fair market value measure. The shares had apparently been moving from strength to strength, and FANG investors seemed happy to be in something that was not controversial, or at least not particularly so. This week is, or may be, a different story, as you have just seen. A sell signal is not confirmed as of yet, but unfortunately, if this turns out to be the case, Amazon will be joining NVIDIA, which has broken support very recently, along with Apple, Meta, and Netflix, all of which have broken support in recent weeks. Let's add in Microsoft, which, as I've been saying for some weeks now, appears to want to drop to its HB1 price of 9.5 times book. I do not like to say worse, but again, longer-term subscribers know that I've had my heart set on Microsoft setting all the way back to its bubble price before this entire rally got underway. Maybe this time it'll get there. Well, that's 6 possible sell signals, although no one has really picked up any head of downside steam as of yet. That only leaves me with Tesla and Alphabet. Tesla has mounted a nice recovery to its HB3 of 16 times book, and I've been rooting last week for it to break out and go even higher. But as of yet, we have not yet gotten a fresh buy signal. So we're right at that filler kill decision point, leaving us on tenterhooks. In comparison with just about everybody else, Alphabet continues to be a steal. Strong balance sheet, okay, a mere 20% higher than its own fair market value, cheap by FANG standards. Okay. Now, the company has its own set of issues with the U.S. Department of Justice these days, but what's a big company for these days, if not to sue them for some real or imagined wrong? Last week, I discussed a potential switch from NVIDIA to Tesla because NVIDIA was breaking down on news of poor potential industry slowdown warning courtesy of Taiwan Semiconductor. Well, Tesla seems to be going from strength to strength in the electrical vehicle industry and is picking up some AI luster as well. So far, so good, sort of. But I'd really like Tesla to break out cleanly now and confirm the efficacy of that switch, as right now it's on the razor's edge. In looking for a conclusion this week and perhaps something to do, I have to freely admit that the NASDAQ 100 has not confirmed the poor action of the FANG stocks themselves, even though the Standard & Poor has, momentarily at least, broken its super growth support at 3.5 times book. In the manuscript for my book, Inside the Market, I have quoted the 12 rules of investing as written by the late, great John Templeton. His 9th rule, or maybe it was his 10th, I forgot without looking it up, was remember to pray. This may well be the best piece of advice that I can give you this week. In closing, remember what Jerome Powell said at Jackson Hole. As far as the economy is concerned, the U.S. Federal Reserve Board is navigating by the stars under cloudy skies. The same thing can be said for the stock market. No panic yet, but just don't get too complacent. For now, this has been Ross Healy, the chairman of Strategic Analysis Corporation and a senior portfolio manager at McNichol & Associates Asset Management, reminding you that nothing, including investing, is difficult if you have the right tools. I'll see you next Friday.